Good afternoon. This week we are celebrating Assisted Living Week, and we have Jacob from the
Hello.
Activities Department showing us origami. Thank you.
Alright, a couple details before we start. Origami is actually a Japanese word that refers to the art of folding paper. When we start, the first things I'm going to teach you today are the basic heart, which we're going to start with because it's probably the easiest. After that, I'm going to teach you the folding placer crane, which is very different from the actual folding crane because it doesn't move, but it's a nice table piece. After that, we're going to go with the harder one, which is the balloon box, which I'll actually show you now. Actually starts folded, and then you can blow it up like a balloon. Okay. So the first thing you want to do when starting this, start with the heart. You want to look through your book or whatever paper you have and find what would be whatever pattern you want. Let's go with a nice pink pattern. Yeah, let's go with you. Pick this one. Alright, so the first step when it comes to the origami heart is to make sure that you're holding your paper flat to the table. What you want to do with the first fold is you want to take the bottom right corner, I think it'll be left on camera because opposites, and you want to fold that center directly into the middle. And then press down the paper. Show an example now. And what you want to do with the bottom left side, your right, is the exact same. If you have them overlapping on either side, that's okay. You just want to make sure that your heart will come out even. So if it is too far to one side, what you can do is just roll one down and then put that back. The next step is to take the top section of the paper, so the top left and the top right as a whole, together and fold it to the center, meeting the other points in the crease. I'll show you this now. So you'll see the fold in the paper actually comes about a quarter of the way to the middle. The next step is to make a small rip right in between the very center to the top of the paper. So you get to the most top you can go directly in the middle, and make a small rip, probably I'd say about an inch thick or an inch deep. After that rip, you take both of the flaps that are new points and you fold them down directly towards the corners. So like this to there, and this to there. After that, you take the corners themselves on the top right and top left, and you bend them down directly to the corner. And after that, show you the origami heart. I'll show you the fold one more time. So it's the corners, back.
I love it.
After that, oh, sorry, now we're in the crane. This we're gonna do the crane. Sorry about the design, but I accidentally made it inside out the first time. So what we're going to do is go back to the book, see what paper we want, or if you have plain white paper, just make sure you've cut it into a square. cardboard ones make it actually easier to see the folds on the paper, which is why I kind of prefer them to this too. Alright, so the first step to the placement crane, folding placement crane, even though it's not right. What you do is you hold the paper on a diamond shape, rather how the square we held it like the heart we held it like a square, sorry. This time we're going to tilt it so that the tops and the bottoms point away and towards us. Like that. What we're going to do is we're going to take the right corner and fold it directly into the center. Not in, as in, okay, I'll actually show like this. Not inwards like this, but we're going to take this whole side and roll it in. So imagine the point on the bottom is going to fold with the center. There we go. That's how it's going to work. What you'll see if you get it right is one line going straight down to the bottom corner. Yeah. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to basically meet it at the center point. People forget about origami a lot. Symmetry was actually one of the most important things they studied when developing origami, because most folds represent you need at least two sides of the same. When you're making something or putting something into a box, usually you have corners, sides, so you have to think of it as a giant shape, becoming another shape. After you get that and you fold the sides back to the front, you're going to flip it over on the table and put the flaps to the bottom, like an ice cream cone shape. You're going to take the bottom and you're going to fold it onto the top side of the paper. So what that usually looks like, and the easiest way to do it, is put it a little bit off the table and dent your fingers in right where you want to make the fold. You can do it another way, but it makes it really easy that way. You're going to take it, and like I said, bring it exactly to the top section. You want to line it up with the very center. And once you have it lined up, you want to press it down. Another thing is if you have things like this and it's more flat and it won't bend in, my suggestion is take your finger or a pencil and poke it outwards with your pointer finger. That way you can get the bend. You don't want to force it because that way you might ruin the paper. Okay. So like I said, tip to tip, bottom to top. I'll open it one more time for you. That's the fold. Now with it back on the same back side with the flaps pointing down, but now you have it folded up. What you want to do is you want to fold the whole thing in the middle. So you're going to take the outermost right corner and fold it to the left corner as well. Okay. That'll look like this. And if you've done it right, you should see a fold directly down the middle, going from top to bottom. This there. Full bend. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the pointy end, which was the bottom at first, with the flaps going inwards. The flaps should be on the opposite side. So you see these flaps, you want to turn it around and go directly to where this is, a little nose piece. And what you want to do is you want to hold with the index and thumb the back of this, and with your other index and thumb, grab that little nose and point it outwards. But as you do it, you want to make sure that you fold this in. You see what I'm doing there? The paper will try and stop you from doing it, but once you get it to where you want to be, these bottom pieces that feel like they're going to bend back, just fold them down. basically pinch the paper into each other. So it should look like this. Very good. Once you got that done, you're going to go over to this top piece here that we just spread out. We're going to open the paper from the bottom, and we're going to take probably about, I'd say, an inch or two from the top, and we're going to fold that down. And once you got that done, you're going to close the other part, the back section, and you're going to allow the head or the front piece, that was 2 inches, to fold with it. And once that folds in, what you can do, just like you did with this before, is grab the inner piece and bring it about halfway out. So you can see that way. What you want to do is bend that down with your finger. So the way I do it is that with my pointer finger, I push it down, and with my index and my thumb, I squeeze it tight. Makes it really easy. And you, like I said, you want it to bring out about halfway. And there you have your origami folding placement frame. We got one left. It's probably the hardest out of them, but it's probably the easiest to describe out of them, except for maybe the heart. So what you want to do? What kind of paper do I want for this one? Okay, let's go with a nice green piece. Those cardboard ones. There we go. I like this one. Something we need in that one. Alright, there's 2 tricky steps to this, but if you get them down, it should be pretty simple. What you want to do with this one again is the first time, how I said hold it in a diamond formation. It's how you want to put it on the table. So from up to down. And when you're folding this paper, you want to make sure the side you want to show is on the opposite end. So that means this side is grayer than the other and lacks color. That's the side I'm going to put to the top of the paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom pointy end and bring it directly to the top. Makes a giant triangle. I'm going to take this and fold it down. What you want to do is before you press your hand down and line it, you want to make sure that you have it centered. That way the fold is straight. Come on, buddy. There you go. So now that I have the point to the point, I found the middle. That's where I pin it down. Good. And once you have it down and where you want it, you want to make sure that the edge isn't too far up or it isn't too far down. Once you have it down and it's placed directly in the middle like you want it, put your hands on the paper and fold it outwards. Make a crease. Open the paper up one more time. Turn it so that the line you just made in the fold is pointing you and in front of you. So before we folded it this way, now we're going to turn it and do the same, but on the fold. So we're going to put our finger in the middle. We're going to take the bottom edge and once again put it to the top. And like I said before, make sure you have them lined up before you center it down. There we go. Okay, now comes the first tricky part to this whole thing. What you're going to do is you're going to take your pointer finger and your thumb on both hands and grab the center of the bottom of the paper. I say probably about an inch apart. And the good thing about this is you can tell because you're going to see the lines you just made through the paper like a plus. So what you want to do is you don't want to grab on the line, but just before it on both sides. And you're going to take your thumb and your pointer and move them into each other. So you're just going to grab it. Oops, this is the tricky part. I wrote it. Ah, there we go. Show you how this works. Once you have this, you're going to take the sides and fold them to each other. If that goes well, you should have what looks like two rectangles on both sides, 4 corners. Alright. Show you that one more time because that is hard. Fold it. I'm going to bring the paper back up together. I'm going to pinch it where I pinched it, both sides. I'm going to move my fingers into each other, making a plus. I'm going to take the nearest corners, put them directly on each other. I'm going to fold it down, take my finger, and I'm going to go across the lines. There you go. Alright, the next step is probably the easiest. You're going to take every one of these 4 corners on the sides, and you're going to fold them up to the top center. So I'll show you what I mean now. And once you have it topped and lined up where you want it, you're going to place your finger directly down. Okay? So, once again, from here to there. And you're going to do that for all 4 sections. What you don't want to do is let it go past the top. If you still have a little bit of room and it doesn't look like it's completely centered in the middle, that's completely okay. Don't slide it up, just put it directly to the tip of the top of the paper. You're going to flip it over and the same with the other 2. It's actually easier when you pat these ones down, other than just lining it straight. When that's said and done, you should have what looks to be, say, 2 corners with all the flaps folded upwards. The next step after this is to turn it to the side like a diamond so that the flaps you just did aren't pointing upwards. The flaps are pointing towards the right. Yeah. So what we want to do is these angles right here you have on the sides, you want to take, not together, but singularly. So all 4, you want to take them and fold them directly to the middle of the paper. You don't want to overpass the line. So like I said, once again, you want to make sure that you do this on all 4 sides, and you want to put it directly to the center of the paper. You want to aim it to as close to the center without going over as you can. That way you don't cross them later on. Because if you cross them, it'll be harder for the actual glue to work. Alright. You need to go ahead and do all 4 sides. But just remember, you have to do this fold 4 times, so that means every time you're going to have to do all 4 of the sections. So you're going to flip it over once you got the first 2 done, do the same on the other side. There we go. Alright. Now the trickier part. What you're going to want to do is you want to turn it right side up, like you did with the flaps. So before, when these were on the bottom, you want to put them to the sides. And you want to go back to where you folded to the first point up with your 4 corners. I'll show you what that is. All these 4 guys sticking up at the top. What you're going to want to do is put them directly into the folds you just made. So I'll give you an example. And then you want to close that little pocket. And what that does is that allows it to stay together when you blow into the glue. It's kind of like tape in a way. There we go. Back in the back. Cardboard guys are hard to do this with. Paper is rougher. Alright. directly into the folds. Put it down. You need to have a little more. If they pop out, it's not too bad. Just put them back in and then fold the crease in even deeper. There you go. Same on all 4 sides. Come on, buddy. If you're having trouble getting them into the folds too, you can always take your finger and open it up a little bit while you press the top point of it to fold down. There we go. Just get them in, push, fold down. Open, push, fold down. Now the fun part, which might be hard to do because it's cardboard paper, you want to take it, and where you see the hole on the opposite end, not the port that's just centered, where the hole is, you want to take it and blow into it, like a balloon. These ones are harder because they're cardboard. And there you have the Chinese water balloon. Thank you. I'm Jacob in Activities. Have a nice day.